Uh, Good afternoon, everyone. And today we have a session on the data protection and cyber security. Very talkable, very relevant, and everyone today interested in particular topic of data protection and cyber security. So, ICS Manoj Kumar Purve, Council Member of ICSI. Extend a warm welcome to all the participants and our esteemed speaker, CS Dr. Gopal Krishna Rajuji. He is going to deliberate with us today. And all the participants, whatever your questions are, you can give it to us, and we can, at the end of the session, we can put before the Dr. Gopal Krishna sir, and he is going to clarify all those points through their reply. So this is the webinar knowledge series EEE 6.0 on topic data protection and cyber security. As you people are aware, in present digital business environment, organizations are increasingly exposed to cyber threats, data breaches, ransomware attacks, and privacy-related risks. While we are talking about privacy-related risks, every day we are using the UPI, we are using the transaction through online mode. So everywhere we are sharing our mobile number and every personal information. So by sharing those information, we are under threat. We are not knowing who is entering in our mobile system or computer. So this is very challenging and very difficult to deal. But with today deliberation, hope we are in a position to strengthen this knowledge, and we can accordingly move further in our business segment. So India has recently enacted significant regulation to strengthen data privacy and cybersecurity within the country, such as Digital Personal Data Protection Act, DPDP Act 2023, the Information Technology Act 2000, and CERT in guidelines, sector-specific guidelines, such as RBI Data Localization Norm, SEBI Cyber Securities Framework, IRDAI Information and Cyber Security Guideline 2023. So these are the guidelines which are very much relevant for we company secretary, because we are the governance professional and we are every day assisting our management how to deal with these laws. So again, our today's speaker is going to provide you the insight on these provisions, which are very much crucial for us. This webinar basically aims to provide participants with a comprehensive understanding of evolving legal, regulatory, and governance landscape relating to data protection and cybersecurity, including obligation under applicable laws, cyber risk oversight by boards, incidents response mechanism, data governance framework, privacy compliance, and disclosure requirements. So lists are so detailed, so long, but hope with our speakers today we are going to have a detailed insight of on all these points. This session also deliberate on the role of company secretaries in strengthening organizational resilience, ensuring regulatory compliance, facilitating board level oversight of cyber risk, and promoting a culture of information security. So for in-depth deliberation on topic, we have with us CS Dr. Gopal Krishna Raju. Once again, welcome, sir. By qualification, he have all the three institute degree, company secretary, chartered accountant, and CWA. And along with that, he is registered valuer as well. Partner of Messrs. K. Gopal Rao and Company. As he has possessed over 25 years of multidisciplinary practice, taxation, audit, assurance, business restructuring, insolvency, so on. expert member of Corporate Governance and CSR Committee of Hindustan Chamber of Commerce. He has also written so many books, specifically Standard Costing and Variance Analysis, First Lesson in Information Technology. So this book is really remarkable, and hope our member is going to have this book in their library, in own library. We welcome him as a speaker in this ninth webinar with the Triple E series 6.00. And I'm confident that the derivation today will not only enhance our understanding but also equip us with actionable insight to contribute effectively to the deeper understanding of the topic. I encourage all participants to actively engage in the session, share their queries, and make the most of this knowledgeable sharing platform. So, with this brief introduction of Sir, now, Sir, dice is yours. Now you are take the session further. Welcome, sir.
Yeah. Very good afternoon, friends. At the outset, let me thank Institute of Company Secretaries of India for this wonderful opportunity to be part of Triple E 6.0 series, an education series, an awareness series, enabling and not only with an objective for awareness and education, but these series are an enabler for members of the Institute. Especially, I will also thank the presence of our Central Council member, C.S. Manoj Kumar Pandey for
It's Purbe, sir. It's Purbe, not Pandey.
Purbe. Manoj Kumar Purbe for your presence and for your opening remarks, and especially the entire team backing this Triple E editions. It's a remarkable initiative, bringing the latest developments of the subject before the members, especially subjects like this. And I'm sure Manoj Kumar ji also will agree. When we were students of the institute, these subjects were not there in our syllabus. But over a period of time, these have evolved. And today, I actually envy the present generation students because, and if at all institute gives me an opportunity, or even maybe I should not say institute should mandate it, but voluntarily I will prefer to write examination again because the subjects which when I see, especially professional program subjects, they have given 6 electives and all because you cannot be master in all. In intellectual property, there is one elective. Artificial intelligence, data analytics, cyber security is one elective. CSR, social governance is an elective. So all these, it was not there when we were students, and especially I'm sure Manoj also will agree. And there is one more elective. I'm actually fascinated by that elective, IFSCA regulations and all. So all these are evolving today. And by looking at the various electives, because it is 6 plus 5 electives, so that means there are 11. But even out of these 11, if even students, they choose 2 only, because they have to only choose 2. 9 subjects is out of their purview. And only Triple E like this, the edition Triple E, only brings before the members what they have missed in their curriculum, they are bringing before you in a platter. So that is a good initiative. I wish and I also request through Manoj Kumar Purbeji that these initiatives should continue, and more such programs you must conduct where our members are.
So just a small interference, sir. This webinar series started with 3.02. Now we are 6.0. So it will continue in future as well. And our endeavor is to have the quality of this particular webinar. So our members are also taking this webinar very much seriously.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sir.
Friends, the subject today may be given an opportunity. I also want to be part of the fraternity, sit before and listen and enjoy the proceedings. That both the topics actually are very relevant. The way our profession is developing, the company secretary's profession, CS profession, is actually moving towards a era where we will be a governance professionals. So, like how Mahatma Gandhi ji made one thing that you follow truthfulness, you follow honesty, and desh bad jayega. So that means the integrity professionals. And today's topic, data protection and the cyber security. Actually, both go together. And I will be sharing with you the various developments with respect to this topic and what are the legal developments that has happened, the new law that has come. And good that our institute time and again they revise their syllabus and include all the latest things. Maybe when we were students, there was no electives. But today, by bringing an elective, a choice is given because Bad Gaya, the syllabus is so huge. And there is a government itself has taken quite, I will say, a reasonable time. When I say reasonable time, it is in years. So they have taken 2 years actually to bring out rules. They have rolled out the rules only recently. So we have to remember two dates, 11 and 13. 11th August 2023 and 13th of November 2025. So 11 and 13. So 11th August 2023 is when the DPDP Act was, it came to, it got the president's assent. So once the act is there, and remember, it's actually 44 sections, only 44 sections, and I'm only one schedule. But over a period of 2 years, if I have to implement that law, and even today, you cannot implement it because government has to come out with one notification. They have to say, start with, actually, everything is ready. The tickets are sold, customers are there. I mean, I should say the public is there. The motorbike or the car race is ready. Track is ready. Everything is ready. Only the person has to come and they have to say, swing, they have to flag off so that the race begins. Now, this is the right time ICSI has brought out these kind of topics online, whereby the members have to gear up. There are opportunities. Now, when I say opportunities, from a practice perspective also you have an opportunity. From a service perspective also. So that means company secretaries who are in service also, they have opportunity. So company secretaries who work in corporates, company secretaries in practice, practicing company secretaries also, you have opportunities in this area. But the traditional company secretaries who have, because like me, like Manoj Kumar Purbeji, we all belong to 10 years, 20 years back syllabus. So we have to gear up by going through these laws, rules, and I am sure ICSI is doing wonderful work by bringing various certificate courses also, because when institute interacts with government, that we are there, hum hain aapke liye. So that is a place where institute can proudly say our members are also well qualified. They are knowledgeable because it is there in our syllabus. And those who have not studied this syllabus, they have qualified through a separate certificate course. So we are ready now. Now, what is all this you have been mentioning? So I'll first start with a very interesting story. This story is actually about the data breach. Manojji was referring about data in, I'm giving data everywhere. Actually, we are giving our data in Facebook, in LinkedIn, social media, Instagram. Now, voluntarily, I give data. I repeat the word voluntarily. I give a data, then nobody can stop us using that data. So, you are giving your own data. People upload our photographs. So, I am in Shimla, I am in Nainital, so I am in Rameshwaram. People take photograph and upload it. Who can stop them? Nobody can stop them. So they share their personal details, personal photographs, family details, their email ID, their phone numbers. For example, if you go to LinkedIn, LinkedIn has a premium account. In LinkedIn premium account, you can your email ID and your phone number will not be visible. So why? It is not open data. So there is one very important word. Actually, I am very fancied by Amitabh Bachchan's one movie where in that movie he will be an advocate and he will appear on behalf of three women. And in that movie he will use one word. He will start with that argument called नो. नो एक शब्द नहीं है, एक वाक्य है. It is a sentence. So unless and otherwise there is a consent from the other person, you are not supposed to touch. Very important concept in that movie. Very similar to that, in this DPDP Act, there is one word called consent. So only based on the consent given, I share my data, I believe somebody. So I believe a bank, I believe a mutual fund, I believe an asset management company, I believe a stock exchange. So I believe the registered entities, so which are registered with the SEBI, which are registered with banks, okay, because they are all regulated entities. And I share my personal data. They have huge data. Not only the regulated entities by SEBI or Reserve Bank of India, including government. State government and central government is also having data. So now this huge data has been breached many times. Now, how do you actually, who's responsible? And data breach, somebody is making money. So how do I tie a knot? How do I make obligated? So I'm starting with the story called data breach story. In this data breach story, I'll share with you some of the interesting stories which has actually happened. If you look at this data breach story, debit card data breach happened in 2016. My God, 3.2 million, I repeat, 3.2 million debit cards, almost 32 lakh debit cards data has been compromised. So these are all various stories of DB, data breach. Actually, in technology, this is also called as a database. Aadhaar data breach happened in 2018. And the kind of data that has been leaked, what information has been leaked, so till date, and what will be the consequence? So we have India's population is 147 crore population. Close to 145 crore or 146 crore population are covered by Aadhaar. Almost our 98, 99% of our population are covered by Aadhaar. Okay. SBI data breach in January 2019 and Just Dial data breach in April 2019. Look at this. The names, mobile number, email ID, occupation, address of nearly 10 crore. And I want to say this also, including our institute's database, members database, students database. Whether you and I get the students database or not, but coaching institutes, they get the students database. Okay. Kudangulam nuclear power plant data breach. 2019 credit and debit card data breach. Big Basket data breach in November 2020. Look at the number. It is not 10, 20 or 1,000. The data that has been compromised are in millions. Okay. Unacademy's data breach. That is 11 million users. Air India data breach in 2021. Domino's India data breach on 2021. 18 crore order data. So who is hunger, from which place, what type of cheese they want, topping, every data, address, phone number, email ID, all these information. Air India data breach, name, date of birth, contact information, passport information. Now, this has happened. How do I control this? How do I stop this? How do I actually levy penalty for the people who have actually done the mischief? Today, we don't have an answer. And the answer has been brought out through a law. You have now a law, you have now a rule. Now things have to roll out. Okay, how it roll out? So that is where the session is all about. I'm now taking you to important terminologies. I'll first start with, so I'll have maybe one whiteboard I will have, and I'll try to list out one by one whatever I'm discussing here. Of course, all this data, whatever I'm sharing, I'll be discussing with you. I mean, I will be sharing with you. So the first thing is data breach, which we just now discussed. Okay. So data breach, N number, but I want to make one observation. We have a definition also for data breach. Okay. So I'll come to this terminology a little later. First, I want to start with section 2H. What is meant by data? Because we are going to discuss about a law called the Digital Personal Data Protection Act 2023. So, what is data? So, first step is what is data? Okay. Then what is meant by personal data? Then what is your digital personal data? Because nowadays personal data is only stored in digital format. So then how to protect it? So what is meant by your personal data? So what is your data? So first I'll start with the data. Okay. So this is your section. Sometimes I'll discuss with the rule also, and sometimes I'll discuss with the sections also. So now what is data? Now come to this part. So your data, this is 2H. Okay. So this is your first thing what we will discuss about. Data means, so I'll show you the act also parallelly. So this is your the Digital Personal Data Protection Act. So on 11th of August 2023 only, this actually got passed. Okay. So I'll just come to this part. So 11th August 2023. So this another 2 more months, we will be celebrating our third birthday. 24, 25, 26, third birthday, okay, of this DPDP Act. But we have to gear up. Whether you are in practice, whether you are in service, my point here is please gear up, and huge potential. I must tell you, huge professional opportunities are there. For example, I'll start with training itself. So training of the company staffs, okay, and especially the HR people, okay, finance people. Okay. So right from training, governance, even for training the top management. Actually, you will be surprised. One of the IT company, they actually engaged. Engaged us to actually train their board alone. Only the board members, including independent directors. So managing director, and the independent director. Company secretaries are the right guys. So my request to Manoj Kumar Purbeji, please conduct training programs for our members, certificate courses for our members on DPDP Act. So thereby they become more enabled professionals with this. Now, what is the data here? Okay. Data is a representation of information. How information will be represented, facts, concepts, opinion, in a manner suitable for communication, interpretation, or processing by human beings or by automated. So data can be in physical form, data can be in digital form, but they don't mention that anything in digital. Okay. So digital personal data. So data is anything. Information is data. Okay. So representation of information, facts, concepts, opinion. So it can be in any form. Okay. So suitable for communication. It can be in paper. It can be in leaflet. So our Pradhan Mantri went to Netherlands and that copper plates he brought it. In that there was some inscription. That is data. So this is not digital data. This is data. Data means information. Okay. So it is representation of fact, information, facts, concepts, opinion, everything. So that is your section 2H. So now I'll take you to the next important thing. What is meant by personal data? So this is, so now because data, personal data, then I have to go for digital personal data. Okay. So what is your personal data? So now this is where that has to be protected. So digital personal data should be protected. So it is a DPDP Act. Okay. Now this is not personal data protection. So it is not PDP Act. It is only digital personal data. Okay. So now what is personal data? So come here. So this is actually section 2T. Any data about an individual, very important. It is not company data. Okay. Today company data is available open. Listed company data available in Screener, free of cost. Okay. Or you can go to BSc, NSC. All are available. Download it. It is there. So personal data means any data about an individual who is identifiable. Now I am coming to this word called identifiable a little later. Okay. So personal data means it is about individual. So this entire, so that is why the word personal. Okay. Personal means individual. Okay. So it is not corporate data. Digital Corporate Data Protection Act. No. This is not digital, okay, Society Data Protection Act. Digital, okay, Trust Data Protection Act. No, it is digital personal data protection. Personal data protection. So it is only individual data. Now, I will bring to your kind attention one more I. So here the word I is individual. Another I is there, that is called identifiable. So individual, okay, it is identifiable. So the identifiable. Now, what do you mean by an identifiable data? Okay. So for me, my face is identifiable. Okay. And we go to a hospital. Okay. Then they will say, do you have any marks? Okay. In your body. Okay. So, any identifiable, my Aadhaar data. Okay. Because in Aadhaar, I will have date of birth. So, I'll just give you what is identifiable to me. My date of birth, my name. Okay. My date of birth, my name, my address, my email ID, my phone number. Okay. So, all these are identifiable. Okay. My marks in my body. Okay. So, please look at this part. Personally identifiable data. Okay. So biometric information, bank detail, your social security number, like your PF data, public provident fund information. Okay. So all these are your identifiable information, identifiable data. Okay. So it can be biometric data, fingerprints, email IDs. You can then classify this because fingerprint, iris, and voice are biometric data, biometric identifiable data. Email address, login credentials, user ID are digital identifiers. Okay. So there are sensitive and non-sensitive data. You can either classify. Okay. Date of birth, place of birth. It will be there in your passport. So all these are identifiable individual personal data. Okay. So this is 2T. Now I'm taking you to next important. Now data, personal data. Our Manoj Kumar Purbeji was referring to breach. So what I will do, I will now take you to your personal data. Okay. Breach. Oh my God. Breach. So personal data, personal data breach. Now what is personal data breach? Come to 2U. Okay. So that is your personal data breach. Look at this interesting definition. It says any unauthorized processing of personal data for without my authority. So that authority consent, that consent is what I will come a little later, and we will discuss more on that. Okay. So means any unauthorized processing of personal data. Okay. Or accidental disclosure. Now I showed you many cases of data breach. Okay, some of them are accidental disclosure. Okay, maybe by copying when you communicate, transmit, acquisition, sharing, use, alteration, destruction. So generally, whenever there is a sale of a company, okay, slum sale of a company, or like we call it a merger of a company, so the assets must be listed. Certain assets will not be there in the balance sheet. Okay, like for example, the unregistered patents, okay, designs, drawings, okay, and okay, datas, okay, datas. So all these should it be transferred to the new company? Sometimes they will retain it. So that is why in agreement they have to put it very clearly. So what I am actually transferring. So what is there in the books? What is not there in the books? So they will say tangible, intangible, physical, okay, digital, all this they will list it out. Okay. So you have to be very careful. So especially whenever you deal with international mergers and acquisitions, the agreements, they will say everything. So which and those things which is not there in the balance sheet also. Okay. So that is why this personal data breach. Sometimes that data from data they will actually build another business. So they say no. The data also you give it to me. Or loss of access to personal data that compromises the confidentiality, integrity, availability. This is the CIA. Okay. Confidentiality of the data means it should not be shared to anybody. Integrity of the data is actually edited. Availability of data, even non-availability of the data. So I try to access my data, I'm not able to get. I try to access my bank statement, I'm not able to get. That means there is a data breach. So the personal data breach is so wide definition. Okay. So 2U, HTU. Now these terminologies you need to understand because I'm going to introduce to you two important characters. Actually, the hero and the villain still I have not introduced for this movie called Data Protection. I am only introducing the side character. The main character, hero, okay, heroine and villain. Okay, I have to introduce. So I'm not introducing that person. Please wait. Okay. Now I am bringing you one Joker. Okay, I'll introduce the Joker here. So, because he is the starting point, because there are many, the entire subject, starting point, somebody will start, no? Okay, Karta. So, this guy is the Karta. So, he is 2J. This fellow is called data principle. Okay, so data principle. Now, who is a data principle? My data, when I give, I am called data principle. Okay, I am the owner of the data, no? It's my data. Gopal Krishna Raju, son of my father's name, date of birth, my address, my email ID, my phone number. Okay. So all these, when I share, I become data principle. So actually, this fellow is a joker. If he doesn't give data, okay, nothing is going to happen. Okay, so he is the starting point. Okay, he is not the hero, I'm telling you. Data principle is not the hero. Okay, hero is somebody else. Okay, so who is data principle? 2J. Now in this 2J, data principle individual. Okay, the individual. So personal data is about an individual. Data principle means individual to whom the personal data relates. Okay, he only gives the personal data. And whereas that individual is a child means below 18, then data principle includes child. Okay, please understand. Adult means data principle. Child means child is also data principle. Child plus parents. Parents are not there. Child plus lawful guardian. So they are also data principle. Along with the child, both of them are data principle because it is child data, but given by the parent. Child data given by the lawful guardian. So who provides the data? Data provider. P, provider of data. P, principal. Okay. So, poor fellow. Okay. So, and also person with the disability. Actually, Income Tax Act also defines disability, severe disability and all. So, because a person with disability sometimes will be blind, then how he will give data? How he will sign? So then personal disability includes that person because it is his personal data. Okay. Includes her lawful guardian acting on her behalf. Okay. So 2J, I'll just share it with you. Very interesting data principle. Okay. So here actually I'm actually fascinated by this English here. Okay. So all these years we have been taught that him includes her. But here, her includes him. Okay. And person with a disability is not defined in the act. It is defined in the rules. Okay. So I'll take you to the rules. This is the rules. Rules were notified on 13th of November 2025. Okay. The Digital Data Protection Rules 2025. Okay. So the Digital Data Protection Rules. Okay. So the rules is 2025. And what is the date? 13th of November 2025. So it is 13th of November. And here they speak about the person with the disability. So I'll just take you to that definition. Look at this. The consent. Okay. In this, they speak about the child. Here, verifiable consent to person with a disability. So here they speak about who is person with a disability. Okay. An individual who has long-term physical, mental, intellectual impairment, which in interaction with barriers hinders her full and effective participation in society. And please understand here, her includes him. Okay. Equally with others, and who, despite being provided adequate and appropriate support, is unable to take legally binding action, and individual who is suffering from any of the conditions relating to autism, cerebral palsy, and mental retardation. Actually, even in Income Tax Act also, the autism, cerebral palsy, mental retardation is included as part of it. Okay, so because They want to make it very specifically, because here disability, you can have n number of lists. So vision related disability, hearing related disability, okay, speech related disability, everything will come under this. But here they want to include, because this is very similar, akin to Income Tax Act definition, okay, and includes severe multiple disability also they have included, and multiple disability also they have brought it. So there they have to actually come with the guardian. So here they use a word called lawful guardian acting on her behalf. So that is data principle. Now I'm taking you to, okay, a very important, of course, personal digital data. Okay. So that is where I will, so personal digital data, that is your section. Personal digital data. Okay. Personal digital data. So our digital personal data. Okay. So the definition should be actually digital personal data. Okay. So DPD means personal data in digital form. So actually this doesn't require a separate definition. Okay. So they make it very clear that this law is only applicable anything that is stored, your individual data. I repeat, individual data stored in digital form, because the moment it is in digital form, it has to be stored. Okay. Okay. So now I'll just take another 5-10 minutes, and after that I want to be very practical. Okay. Because now I'm going to introduce the hero. Okay. So actually the hero of the entire thing is this 2I. Okay. Data fiduciary. Okay. This fiduciary is a very interesting term. Okay. So I will now take you to because since I'm going to introduce the hero here. Okay. So fiduciary, I want to actually give a English meaning. Then I'll go there. Okay. So please look at this. A fiduciary means, okay, a person. Okay. They are legally, ethically bound to act in the best interest of another person. Okay. So another person. So I have to act in the best interest, fiduciary capacity. Sometimes directors act in a fiduciary capacity. Okay. So they are interested, directors are interested to manage assets, to manage money, to manage property. Okay. And must put their client's interest, that is company's interest, first. Company first. So here the data fiduciary, okay, he is legally, ethically bound to act in the best interest of data principle. Okay, he should be act. And data fiduciary is interested to manage data. Data fiduciary is interested to manage digital personal data. He is the hero of this discussion today. So, means any person. 2I. Okay. So, this fellow is data fiduciary. Yes. Any person who alone, single fellow. Actually, the word any person can be individual, can be company, okay, can be a firm, okay, because here the word is called any person, not individual. Okay. So data fiduciary can be a company. Data fiduciary can be an individual, because the word person is also defined in the DPDP Act. Now look at the word person here. Person means individual. HUF, company, firm, AOP. Okay. Okay. AJP, everybody. Okay. Good. So any person. So any person can be a data fiduciary. The hero of this entire DPDP Act. Okay. So with another person. In conjunction with another person. Now why the word in conjunction with another person? You have to be very careful. Okay. Because sometimes you have to store data. Now, storage data where? In a server. Now, server, which server? You will have a physical server, physically stored in your office, or you may have a cloud server. In cloud, you may take a space, and in the cloud, you may keep the data. Now, data belongs to data principal. You are, okay, you are a person who have to manage, okay, the data, who alone in conjunction determines the purpose and means of processing of personal data. This word is very, very, very important. Okay. Purpose and processing. Purpose of personal data, means of processing of personal data. Now, why you are keeping personal data? For verification. Okay. For verification purpose. Processing purpose. Okay. So, what is processing purpose? Say Aadhaar. Aadhaar is storing the biometric data. Okay. So, sometimes some people will try to refer their biometric so that you compare that biometric with your database and then you give a confirmation, yes, this belongs to so and so person. So, that means you are processing personal data. So, please understand the purpose of personal data, processing of personal data, the purpose and means of processing of personal data. Okay, quite interesting, guys. Okay, means and purpose of processing personal data. So, data fiduciary. Now, I'm bringing one more person called 2Z. This fellow is called significant data fiduciary. 2Z. Okay, so 2Z. Significant data fiduciary. Now, who is this fellow, guys? Okay. Data fiduciary, okay, person to whom data principal gives his data. Okay. Now, significant. Actually, please look at this wording. Significant data fiduciary mean data fiduciary or class of data fiduciaries as may be notified by central government under section 10. Still, they have not yet notified. Okay. Significant mean large. People who have large data. Now, I'm just bringing to your kind attention one interesting study. Look at this. What is significant data fiduciary? Maybe significant volume. Maybe. But we have to wait and see. But this is only one expectation by various experts. Look at this. If they are processing personal data of 50 lakh and above, or their annual revenue is 250 crores or more, operating in multiple sectors, having diverse data category. So, this can be one of the logic for significant. Okay, because in Companies Act, significant influence means 20% of the shareholding and voting right. So that significant as a very important, they define significant in Companies Act. Okay. So here, significant data, if you know what is significant. Okay. What is significant? Okay. So here personal data personal means individual. Now here significant means what? Okay. So what they say, any data fiduciary has to be notified. This notification makes it significant. Okay. So they may come with the company name itself or data fiduciary name itself, or they may give criteria. Those who satisfy that criteria, they are called significant data fiduciary. And significant data fiduciary has to have, that means they have huge data. So, data fiduciary is a hero. Now, significant data fiduciary is superstar. Okay. So, number one star. So, you are superstar of the particular state, the particular country. Okay. Highest paid. Okay. So, significant data fiduciary. Okay. Superstar. He is only a hero. There are so many heroes. Okay. But this fellow is superstar. Okay. एंड ऑफ कोर्स बॉलीवुड पे एक सुपरस्टार है, तमिलनाडु पे एक है, एक था, ओके, कर्नाटका पे एक सुपरस्टार है, केरला पे 2 सुपरस्टार है. So there are multiple superstars. Okay. So significant data fiduciary. Okay. Good. Now come to an interesting. So 2Z is SDF. So DF, SDF. Okay. So I'll call it as DF. SDF. Now, this is where company secretary's role is important. Now, I'm coming for the company secretary. Now, all these seems to be very technical. Where I am. Okay. I am a company secretary. I'm a company secretary. What is there for me? So, okay. So this is your 13th November rule. Okay. Now I'm coming for your section 10. Okay. I'll come to section 10 here. So because that is where, of course, I should also discuss section 4. I'll read section 4, then I'll take you to the other part. So this is your section 4. Section 4. Okay. So now here, section 4, after that I'll go to section 10 because to understand 10, because that connect is very important. Now what is section 4? Okay. This is about the grounds for processing personal data. No, because we just now saw processing personal data. Okay. Okay. So we just now saw the purpose and means of processing personal data. So what is the ground for processing personal data? Why? Okay. So grounds for processing of personal data. Now after this, I'll go to section 10. Now, read this section, quite very interesting. A person may process the personal data of a data principle, okay, only in accordance with the provisions of this act for a lawful purpose. Okay, now lawful purpose means any purpose is not expressly forbidden by law. For example, banker, okay, you open a bank account. You open a bank account. Now, you give a KYC data. Now, that KYC data has to be verified. You give PAN data. PAN has to be verified. Okay, now, from whom I will verify PAN? With income tax department. So, therefore, okay, so data fiduciary, okay, can data fiduciary be government? Okay, I'll come to this place called state. Okay, state as defined under section 12. So, possibly government also can come under DPDP Act. Okay, that is why government is taking more time. Should we also be bound by DPDP Act or we should be exempted? Okay, so my view is, this data processing alone, government will give it to a third party. Please, okay, data is not government data. PAN data storage, PAN data processing, it will be given to a third party, a company. They will come under this. So government will not come under this. So that's what my view here. I may be wrong also. Okay, good. Now come. So because that is how then only you can regulate it properly. Okay. So now I'm coming for this interesting part. Okay. So grounds for processing of personal data. Come here. So what is it? A person may process the personal data of data principle only in accordance with the provisions of this act and for lawful purpose, for which the data principle has given her consent. This word her, don't go by feminine gender. Okay. Female includes male. Okay. Female includes male. So therefore, here her includes him. Okay. So this is how we should understand. I personally like this particular law very much. The thought process is different. Thought process is totally different. Okay. Or for certain legitimate uses. Okay. So it's only beginning. The law is only beginning. People have written many books on this, lot of interpretations on this, but we have to wait because SDF is still not notified. Okay. But the moment SDF is notified, you have a lot of work. Company secretaries have a lot of work. Okay. So that's what I'm coming. Okay. So what is the ground for processing? Any person may process the personal data or data principle. Oh, you. So you go to bank. Now bank is any person. Okay. Now may process the personal data principle. So now you give PAN. PAN has date of birth, your name, your father's name. Okay. So he may process the personal data for the provisions for a lawful purpose. Then I will refer it to maybe you give Aadhaar. Aadhaar I will I'll confirm. Okay. So your thumb impressions or your Aadhaar data I'll confirm. So then I'll refer to a data fiduciary. Okay. May process. So what is the ground for? The ground is only lawful purpose. So what is the ground? 2 acre ground? No. Lawful purpose. That is the ground. Lawful purpose of processing personal data. You can only do for lawful purpose. Now come to 10. Very important section. Okay, come to 10. So 10 is where the SDF is. Okay. So they speak about a lot of legitimate users. So what are the legitimate users? Many examples are given. I don't know whether I'll have time or not, but I will try to explain 2 or 3 examples. Okay. So like for example, I'll come
We
here.
have time 4:45 and 15 minutes we can keep for question answer.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Now I'll just give one example because this ground is very important. Okay. The ground for processing of data. But that's where the consent will come. Okay, because now I'm coming with I've introduced the hero, I've introduced the superstar. Okay. So now I have to introduce the heroine. Okay. So the heroine is actually consent. Okay. So the consent manager. This is the heroine. Okay. Come here. 2G. Consent manager means a person registered with the board who acts as a single point of contact to enable a data principal to give, manage, review, withdraw her consent through an accessible, transparent, and interoperable platform. Oh, okay. Now, data principal, individual who gives data. Data fiduciary who, along with somebody else, okay, determine the purpose and means of processing the data. He will determine, okay, he's a fiduciary. Okay. So now consent manager is a person registered with the board. Now, when you say board, okay, so I have to take you to the definition again here. Okay. So board means data protection board established by central government. So this is where our company secretary's role will come. Okay. So consent manager. Okay. 2G. Okay. So there is a form. Okay. So based on that form, we have to actually get the consent manager notified. Okay. Registered. Okay. So all this one. So a person registered with the board. Now, who's the board member? Who's the board here? You are DPB. Okay, DPB, Data Protection Board. Okay, Data Protection Board of India. So DPBI. So that is called board. Okay, so 2C is board. So your 2C is your board. So who is your board here? And this is where your slowly your company secretary's role will come. So Data Protection Board of India. Okay. So now I'll just come here. So there are so many other rules have to be formed. Okay. So Data Protection Board of India. Okay. So this is only in what is say concept form. So that means I'll say this the government has formally constituted DPBI and actively inviting applications for the board's key leadership roles to ensure widespread compliance. Okay. The recruitment detail eligibility criteria is available. So still they have not formed. And then they will announce from this day the office will open. So still it is under. So that means the baby is formed. The baby is growing. Okay. Delivery date is not announced. Okay. So Data Protection Board of India. Okay, it is under formation. So under formation, I mean, delivery date will be announced very soon. Okay. So Data Protection Board of India. So we have a separate, it's very important and we need to actually look at this. So it is actually formed, but activity is still not there. Okay. Because many people have to be actually appointed. And then, so it is in NCR, India, Delhi only. Okay. So events that led to establishment. So 18th November 22. So this is all. Now structure. The board is consist of chairman. All this, they have to still certain appointments are going on. Okay. So only in I will say, beginning stage. Okay, the beginning stage, but a lot of work is there with the DPBI. Okay, good. So now come to this. Yeah. So where am I? I'm going to the word called consent. So we now understood consent manager is a person registered with board who acts as a single point of contact to enable a data principal to give consent, to manage consent, to review consent, withdraw consent. So I will use a word called GMRW. Okay. So to give consent, to manage consent, to review consent, to withdraw consent. No, when the data principal, who is a data principal? Myself. I give my data. Gopal Krishna Raju, father's name, date of birth, address, phone number, email ID, PAN number, passport number, everything I give. And I give a consent. You use it for lawful purpose. I give a consent. That consent is very important. Okay. Now, who will give consent? Data principal. To whom I have to give consent? Consent to manager. Okay. Now come to this consent to manager. Now, if you understand all this, then I will take you to audit, because there is something called security audit, data security audit, cyber security audit, and then enrollment of a company secretaries with the background of information system technology qualifications, all this. Now, please look at this. The consent given by the data principal, okay, shall be free, specific, informed, unconditional, unambiguous, with a clear affirmative action, and shall signify an agreement to the processing of our personal data. I am giving consent to process my personal data. What do you mean by process? You give personal data to bank. What they will do? They'll enter your data in the system. They'll store your data. That is called processing. They enter your data, fill your data, process your data, store your data, check your data. Okay, check your data with somebody else. Okay.
Sir, we have crossed the limit of 10,500.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. So nice. Damn nice. Okay. So, and shall signify an agreement to the processing of her personal data for the specified purpose. What is specified purpose? To bank, what is the purpose? So, my data, please keep it and use it only for the lawful purpose. KYC. So, your who know your customer. Okay. So, KYC purpose. Now, all these days, KYC was only providing data, collecting data, keep it. Now, the data is my data. Okay. Today, you get hundreds of SMS, unsolicited SMS, tons of phone calls, unsolicited phone calls. Okay. Now, who is sharing this data? Now, have I given consent to share data? Consent ki baat hi nahi hogi hai. Where is the question of consent? I only give my KYC, fill it up and give. So, and sometimes whenever you go to some website, you have to give your data, and below you have to say, I confirm. How many of us we read it and say? So there they will say your data, I can use it for any purpose. And whenever you download a free app, free app, there whenever you open that app, you have to give consent to access your contacts. Oh my God. So consent, the moment you give consent, now this is where, look at this word called, shall signify an agreement. Okay. So this drafting of the agreement, company secretary only have to do. Our personal data for the specified purpose, only for banking purpose only I am taking it. I will not share your data. Okay. So you want to actually open a FD. At that time again we'll verify your data with this. you want to apply for a loan with our company, I'll use this data. That's all. So that limited purpose, that is called specified purpose. Okay. And be limited to such personal data as is necessary for such specified purpose. These are the places where company secretary's role are very important, because you define it. And in the rule, okay, this is the rule. And in the rule, they give what and all should be there. This is called verifiable consent. Means a consent as specified in rule number 10 and 11. Okay. So they give what should be your verifiable consent. Okay. So I'll just come to this part here. Verifiable consent. Okay. So I'll just give some 1 or 2 examples, and then I'll go into some interesting applications of this. Okay. Please look at this illustration. Mr. X is an individual. He downloads Y, a map. Okay. And Y request, that is the app. App is actually requesting the consent of X for processing of our personal data for making available telemedicine services. Look at this. Because it is a telemedicine. So I'm using your app because whenever I say I'm a Gopal Krishna Raju, okay, and I log in, it will say, hi, Gopal Krishna Raju, because it is using my name and it is welcoming. And I will be giving my personal medical data, okay. To process that medical data, my, my BP count, my other, health records. So it will compare, process, and then it will give me a report, okay, only for that specified purpose. And accessing our mobile phone contact list. This is where, please look at this. This is a telemedicine app for making telemedicine services. Up to this is fine. And accessing our mobile phone contact list. Is this specified purpose? Is this specified purpose? And next signifies our consent to both. Look at this. Now here, you can give consent 1, don't give consent to 2. This is where the consent manager role is very important. So, governance role. Since phone contact list is not necessary for making available telemedicine service, their consent shall be limited to the processing of our personal data for making available telemedicine services only. So, even though I give consent, that consent should be used only for the specified purpose. I give consent because today, so you access my contact. Why do you want contact? Only for making telemedicine service. So don't share my data to others. So you are giving service to me, for that use this data. That's all. So any part of consent referred to in subsection 1, which contains an infringement of the provisions of this act, that means other than the specified purpose, okay, then penalty. Penalty is in crores. My God. Penalty is in crores. Okay. I must take you to that penalty clause. You will be bewildered. Okay. Bewildered. Okay. Please look at the penalty clause, guys. Okay. Read this carefully at Aram se penalties. Okay. Chapter number 8. And the kind of penalties are huge. Okay. So I'll come to this a little later. So now we have understood one more thing, that is called consent. Okay. So this is section 6, which speaks about consent. So now what is a consent? You will actually, you have to give your confirmation. Now who has to give confirmation? I'll again read that section again. Please look at this part. So who has to give consent? The consent will be given by data principal. Consent will be given by data principal. So I'll just put that here. Who will give? Consent is given by data principal. Who gives the data? Because my personal data only, you are using it. Okay. To whom I will give? To the consent manager. So now, data, my personal data, who is giving? Data principal to whom I am giving, okay, to the data fiduciary, my consent, okay. Now, data fiduciary and consent manager can both be same. Now, this is where I am bringing to the definition of data fiduciary again. Now, what is data fiduciary? Any person who is alone or in conjunction with the other person. So the other person can also be consent manager. Now, who's a consent manager? A person registered with the board. Can data fiduciary be a consent manager? Yes, both can be same person. Okay. Data fiduciary also any person. Consent manager is also person. Okay. So data fiduciary also can be a company. Consent manager also can be a company. Okay. Can be a firm. Can be an individual. Okay. Possible. Quite. So this is the place where structuring is involved. So if the company is huge, you have to identify, data fiduciary will be company. Consent manager will be one department. So data protection policy. So personal data protection policy. You have to draft it. Okay, you have to draft it. So company secretary's role is very important there. Okay, so lot of advisory work will be there. Lot of advisory work. Okay, these are all governance work. Okay, so now coming to another, because there is another very important work here that I will take you to section 10. Then I will take you to rule number 13. 10 and rule number 13 are very important. Okay, so consent we have understood. Now I'm taking you to the superstar. Superstar is SDF. Okay. Now come to section 10. Come to section 10, guys. Where is 10? The central government may notify any data fiduciary or class of data fiduciary, significant data fiduciary. So central government will notify any actor as a superstar on the basis of assessment as a relevant factor as it may determine. I just now showed you that factor. Okay, what is the factor? Number of users, user IDs. 50 lakh users, 250 crore turnover. I'm just giving a number. This is only a model. Okay, so it can be more than that also, or less than that also. Okay, including volume, risk. So risk management committee has a lot of role in coming days. Okay, risk management committee, data risk, data breach risk. Okay, so if you are taking third-party data, better to store it in a separate place, have a security. So now I'm coming for the cyber security concepts. Okay, so I will just take you to SEBI cyber security framework, RBI cyber security framework, because something you have to adopt in your company also. So I'm giving you the two regulators cyber security framework, because once you have data, you are a data fiduciary or a superstar data fiduciary, that means significant data fiduciary, you have a consent manager. Okay, then so what next? Okay, so then you need to have security. Otherwise, data will breach. Now, data breach means a penalty. So
A small point is here, as you defined in your Excel, just start with the Excel.
oh, sorry, 1 minute.
That is the definition part which you are summarizing your sheet in your sheet.
Yes.
So from the company secretary perspective, if he or she is in employment, so here start with the role of that company secretary. So this DF role, DP role, and consent manager role. So where our company secretary can play their role in these areas under the company.
Especially drafting of the consent model. So how do you, because the data principal have to give a consent. So drafting of that consent, because I cannot copy another company's consent. Maybe I can take a draft, but I have to customize it. So because the purpose, I have to mention it very clearly. What is the business in which I am? So for what purpose the data I will actually use for processing. So these are the places where first thing where company secretary's role is important, maybe in-house company secretary. Second, in the board, we have to be very clearly we have to mention this consent manager is who? Okay. Now, who's this consent manager? He is the guy who will actually manage data. Okay. So, data fiduciary responsible. Now, consent manager is one, he can be, I told you one thing that DF and CM both can be same. DF and CM can be different person also.
Yes.
For example, two different departments. Two different departments also can be there. Sometimes consent manager can be outsourced also. So it can be outsourced. It can be in-house also. Okay.
It can be both DF and CM can be a both person.
Same person. So this structuring is where company secretary's role is very important. How do I structure it? Because my company size is this. What will be the costing? How long we should be one? When I have to be two? Okay, should I have to have an in-house concern manager or outsource concern manager? If it is an outsource concern manager, then we should have a agreement, private agreement between both of that. See, you do any mistake, I am responsible because I am fiduciary guy. You are only concerned manager. Because concerned manager, if you look at the definition, see, he will give, so data principal will give consent. I will store it. Manage the consent. Review the consent, withdraw consent. Person register who acts as single point of contact to enable data. So he is a facilitator. Technically, he is only a facilitator. Technology facilitator. So now, should I have to have the technology with me? Because board will ask all these questions. Now you are a company secretary, you advise me. So who is the concerned man? Should we be the concerned man? Then technology and all I should have. So now there are technology companies who will come forward. No, we will be concerned manager for you. We will take the responsibility. We are registered with the Data Protection Board of India. But you please sign this agreement. Please sign this agreement. Because you are giving data to him. Your customer data you are giving to consent manager. Consent manager will charge you fee. So consent manager, say for example, consent withdrawal. Consent manager will not do. Data fiduciary only have to take the withdrawal from the client, from the data principal and give to consent manager. Consent manager will update. So that means the structuring is very, very critical. Very critical.
But at the same time, sir, rule is notified now, act is also notified now. So about the applicability, we don't have the registered board with us. So how we people as a consent manager registered and work right current situation?
So now actually Superstar is still not notified. Actually, there is no wall. I will give you one very interesting comparison. Okay, I'll give you one comparison. So I'll give you one interesting comparison. So where is it? Sorry. Yes. Look at this comparison. So here I'll give you the difference between the what do you call non-SDF means DF. Okay. So DF and SDF. Okay. So what is DP1, DPI? I have to still define. Okay. So compliance audit is mandatory, but it is recommended. Okay. Regulatory scrutiny will be continuous. Okay. This is optional and standard. You can follow. Governance expectation is very high. So transparency and accountability is very important. Here, basic compliance is sufficient. And vendor oversight means if you have a concerned manager who is outsider, okay, so then it should be strict, very, very strict. Okay, so you should be in continuous monitoring with your concerned manager. The concerned manager is if outsourced. And even if it is in-house also, you should have a proper mechanism whether that department is doing the job properly. So actually speaking, you are not doing business at all, but you are only managing data. Sometimes managing data is very important for your business because it is third-party data. And without third-party data, you cannot do business. Example, telecom companies. Example, banks. Example, asset management companies. Okay. See here, who will actually be SDFs? I'll give you one very, very big list. Please look at the SEBI. In the SEBI, you have a very big list. Look at the recognized intermediaries. So AIF is there, 1926 AIF. Stockbrokers 4,900. Equity segment stockbrokers. You have bankers. You have credit rating agencies. So mostly out of this 37 thing, maybe vault managers may come. Okay, your REITs may come. Your ESG providers may come. Venture capital funds, research analysts, portfolio managers, mutual funds. So merchant bankers. So many can come in this and based on their size. So some of them may be very small, some of them may be big. So they will definitely come. And come to the list of banks. So we have the list of banks, you have a very big list. So for example, say you have your public sector banks, nationalized bank, private sector, scheduled banks, cooperative banks, regional rural banks. So almost all of them will come. Okay, so banking sector, no exception, they will come. Your SEBI registered intermediaries, they will come, my view, but not all will come. So majority who are doing volume, they will come. Stock exchanges will definitely will come. Okay. Number 3. Number 4, take the listed companies. Okay. Listed companies where whose shareholders' data are huge. Debenture holders' data are huge, maybe above 500 or 1000. Some numbers. They will also come. So the numbers and whether the central government and state government departments will come, especially income tax department. That is why today income tax department data, TAN data is now processed by NSDL. Now NSDL is a separate company. My view, NSDL will come. So now PAN is actually issued by NSDL only. So that means PAN origin of the PAN data is with NSDL. So my view is government will actually are identifying these SDFs, what is called as the superstars, and the superstars will actually will be subject to. So these superstars have to first the fiduciaries concern manager have to register. Okay, register with the. So once the Data Protection Board of India is functional, the SDF also will be notified. Concern manager have to register. So this is how it will come. And now I am going to introduce 2 more people. Okay, very important people. Very important people. So this is called DPO. So 2L. Now who is this guy DPO? Okay. So Data Protection Officer. I think this is 2L. Okay. So Data Protection Officer. Now, who is this Data Protection Officer? He is an individual appointed by SDF. Okay. Under section 10(2)(a) of the DPDP Act, Digital Protection, Personal Data Protection Act. Now, who is this fellow? So SDF is appointing an individual. Now, here this individual can be a company secretary. Can he be a CS? So I'm coming for the 10(2)(a) and what is his responsibility? So come to section 10. Yes. Now come here. 10(2)(a). The significant data fiduciary shall appoint a data protection officer. Now what he will do? Represent the SDF under the provisions of this act. In India, he will be in India. He will be an individual responsible to the board of directors of the SDF. So my view, he will be the company secretary. And be the point of contact for grievance redressal mechanism under the provisions of this act. My God, all the features of a company secretary fits here. Okay, so data protection officer. The future, you will see many advertisements in the online calling company secretary for the position of DPO. Or we have to, nowadays, what will be there? Company secretary and compliance officer, company secretary and legal officer. Is a company secretary and a finance manager. No, company secretary and data protection officer. Or there will be one super company secretary and there will be a 3 or 4 other company secretaries who are departmentalized. One company secretary will be a DPO. Because his role is very, very important, and he will be the guy who will draft the consent, amend the consent, interact with the consent manager. Okay, so all this stuff, and the risk involved in it. So the annual audit. Now, please look at this P part. Appoint an independent data auditor to conduct the data audit, who shall evaluate the compliance of the SDF in accordance with the provisions of this Act. Okay, very important. So, there's an independent data auditor, but one thing, this data auditor, no qualification is mentioned. I repeat, no qualification is mentioned for this data auditor. So that means a company secretary or a practicing company secretary firm having company secretaries with the multiple qualification, or a company secretary with a tech guy, or a company secretary with the DPDP Act and data protection laws and regulations related the knowledge will be an ideal person. So he can be appointed. So appoint an independent data auditor. Now, who will appoint? SDF shall appoint an independent
So
data
auditor
auditor.
definition is not given under DPDP Act. So we may approach the DPDP regulator to including an auditor role of a company secretary in practice as an auditor.
Absolutely. So my view, Manoj Kumar Purbeji, this is right time for ICSI to come out with a certificate course, and especially how data audit has to be done and what are the tools available. And right time, you have also launched the AI courses also, where AI tools, how to use it. So our company secretary should be geared up not only in the legal part of it, but how to use the tools also. Because to do a data audit, you need to good at the various tools, various agents. So you need to verify. So how the log has to be analyzed. So all
That
this.
already we are on it, sir. Through
Yes.
PMQ course, we are already on it. And soon we are covering more areas related to this data protection and cybersecurity.
Yes. So because they have not mentioned it here, and therefore I see us as a great opportunity, especially with respect to this data audit. And there's one more annual assessment also has to be done, which is called as like your social impact assessment. Here, there is a necessity to undertake the following other measures. Periodic data protection impact assessment, periodic. So it can be monthly, quarterly, annually also. They're not mentioned the period. So at least it should be once in a year, which shall be process comprising a description of the rights of data principle, purpose of processing their data. So that is called data protection impact assessment. Now, what will happen in case the data is leaked? What will be the impact to the data principle? What will be the damage? And whether there will be a penalty liability dangling on the head of the company. So all these matters, periodic audit and such other measures, that is. So this section is very, very critical. And not only section 10, I am also taking you to rule number 13. Now, please look at this rule number 13, which speaks about additional obligations of SDF. So, in this additional obligation, a significant data fiduciary shall once in every 12 months, because they have not mentioned in Act the period. So, from the date on which it is notified. Now, when it is notified, so we have notified from November 2025 as such, okay, but the SDF is not yet notified still. So, from the SDF notification date, every 12 months. So, let the company, large companies, especially which has huge database, they already be geared up. Whether they will be notified or not, let the data auditor, data protection impact assessment, let them have it as part of their process. So once in every 12 months. So undertake a data protection impact assessment and an audit to ensure effective observance of the provisions of this Act. So there are two things. DPIA once in a year. So section 10 is about the Section 10 is about, yeah. So this is about the obligations of SDF. So this is obligations of SDF and Rule 13. So this speaks about, the Rule 13 speaks about the additional obligations of SDF. Okay, so this is your additional obligation. So in this additional obligations, they mention clearly, so data protection impact assessment. So DPIA. But what is data protection impact assessment? They have not discussed in detail. So this is one place where we may require how an impact assessment has to be done and an audit of the effective observance of the provision. This is actually compliance audit. So compliance audit and the DPIA. So these are the two additional obligations, okay, which has been mentioned. And in the obligation, there will be one data protection officer has to be appointed. So section 10 is very important because they have mentioned very clearly to appoint a DPO, okay, and appoint an independent data auditor to carry out data auditor who shall evaluate the compliance of the significant data in accordance with the provisions of this act and undertake the following other measures: periodic data protection impact assessment, periodic audit, another. Now, this rule, DPIA compliance audit, is additional obligation. Section 10 speaks about, I'll just keep 3 lines here. So here, appointment of DPO. So this is one obligation. Okay. Appointment of DPO. Second, independent data auditor to carry out data audit. Now, this independent data auditor is the practicing company secretary. Practicing company secretary is an independent data auditor to carry out data audit. Okay. So data audit is in addition to compliance audit. Okay. What is a data audit? Who shall evaluate the compliance of SDF in accordance with the provisions of this act. Okay. And additional compliance is different. This is primary compliance. And periodic DPIA and your other periodic audit, these two are your compliance. So these two are discussed in your rules. And your act speaks about appointment of DPO who will be part of, who can be a company secretary, because the roles are, it fits only a CS. He will be in India. He will be an individual responsible to the board. That means he's directly reporting to board or governing body of SDF and be single point of contact for grievance redressal. So he will be the grievance officer also. So grievance officer, data protection officer will be reporting to the board, and he will also, or if it is a Section 8 company, it can be to the governing body. Okay, so based in India. So quite befitting role for a SCS. So this is your section 10 and 13. And I'll just share with you another 2-3 points here. These are the extra rules which I already mentioned. Appointment of DPO already mentioned. Mandatory DPIA I already mentioned. Regular compliance audit. All these are opportunities for CS. This I will use a word called AT. Okay, transparency. Actually, this enhanced governance means I'll say transparency. Okay, so transparency. So transparency and accountability. So this is the two aspects which is important here. So, and if you're not an STF, right? So I think all these points have already discussed.
I think, sir, you bring now your villain into the picture.
Yes. Now I just want to, I will take another
Because without panel clauses, the importance of DPDP Act losing their importance. So panel clauses must be known to our audience.
Yeah. So I'll come to that part also. Yeah. So I'll just share the screen. 1 minute. Yes. So let me take you to this, rights and duties. Ah, so these are the board powers. The penalties. Okay. Now, what is the maximum, what actually can happen here? So I started with the term called data breach. Okay, I started with the term called data breach, and we already have that definition here. Okay, so it is called um, personal data breach. Okay, so unauthorized processing of personal data or accidental disclosure. So whether it is intentional or unintentional, so this is where you have to be careful, because any unauthorized, so somebody else have done it, it's not me. Okay, so accidental disclosure, acquisition of data. So without knowledge, you are sharing a lot of information. Along with that, you are also giving personal data. So this is quite wide data breach. Sharing of data. Okay, that is personal data breach. Oh, okay, I'm giving a copy of the data. Okay, it's sharing. Use of the data. Okay, use of the data. So I am only giving consent for you to use for a lawful purpose. You are using for other than the specified purpose, because the specified purpose 1, 2, 3. For 3 purpose only you should use. For 4th and 5th purpose you use personal data breach. So this personal data breach definition is so wide. Okay. Now come to this. If the board determines on conclusion of an inquiry that breach of the provisions of this act, okay, made by a person in significant, it may, after giving a person an opportunity, impose such monetary penalty as specified in the schedule. Okay. So I will not go to schedule because it's so big number. Okay. While determining the amount of monetary penalty to be imposed. Okay. Board shall have all this clause. Okay. The gravity and duration of the data breach. So I started with the data
Schedule,
breach only.
just with for the knowledge of our audience, what is the minimum penalty as specified in the schedule, and what is the maximum
Okay.
one?
I'll just go there. Okay. So this is your single schedule. Okay. Please look at this. May extend to 250 crore rupees.
That's
Okay.
that gives the importance of this particular act for our members.
Okay. And please look at this. It is only starting point is 10 crores. Extend to 10 crores. May extend to 50 crore. So these are actually they give maximum. This is maximum 250 crores, maximum 10 crores. So starting can be thousands, lakhs, crores. So my views, they will levy penalty in 1 crore, 2 crore, 3 crore only. So they can even go beyond that. So please look at this. Breach in observance of the obligations of data fiduciary to take reasonable security. If there is a security lapse, the penalty can be in tons of crores. So insurance companies are also waiting for this opportunity. But there is one problem with insurance. See, insurance companies, they will only insure assets. They will only insure your physical assets.
Yes,
And
sir.
they never insure software. They never insure data. Till date, data is not insured. Data is not insured. So therefore, the only protection, the only insurance is governance, proper governance, proper data audit. And company secretaries with the knowledge of DPDP Act will have a wonderful, I will say, red carpet welcome in the market. And they can actually do the best value added services, because very, very critical. And can I go to insurance to safeguard myself? They will not do it. They will not do. And to my knowledge, as of today, there is no product. There is no product for this. Okay. But you have this data, I mean, director's responsibility. For that, you have the insurance. But for security, because it's actually data breach, then what you are insuring? Okay, are you insuring the penalty? No. So you have to insure some assets. So data will never come under that. Maybe they are also evolving. Actually, one insurance company was having a very detailed discussion how they can design a product for this. Okay. So ultimately, they had some inputs, but they are still evolving whether they can come out with some products. So this is still in liquid stage only. But now I am bringing to the security part. Okay, I'll take another maximum 10 minutes to give that part, and then we'll keep open for questions. I'm just bringing your kind attention to two things. Number one, this is uh, yes, this is the framework of this is the SEBI framework. Okay, this is the SEBI framework. This is called a cyber security and cyber resilience framework for the SEBI regulated entities. I showed you a very big list. Okay, so many thousands of regulated entities. So for them, they have brought this the framework, and in this there are many concepts are there. Maybe we don't have time to go into it, but I'll just give you the link here. You can actually go through this. And from a bank perspective, okay, Reserve Bank of India has brought out a cyber security framework for banks. So it's quite detailed. We require at least a 2 hour or a 3 hour session to go into it. So how the information can be safeguarded, what should be the measures. And already these are the two frameworks which is working exceptionally well, and more guidelines and more circulars are being brought out to actually strengthen this framework in the banking sector and also in the capital market sector. I think these two framework and even in our syllabus. So I must tell you that our institute, so in our syllabus, there's an elective paper 4.4 on artificial intelligence, data analytics, and cyber security. So in this, one particular chapter is there on cyber security. There, this framework of banks, cyber security framework in banks only is included in our syllabus also. So to enable our students who will become members to have a grip on the various cyber security framework aspects. So maybe one or two I will just bring before you. Actually, they start with the fundamentally you should have a policy. Okay, cyber security policy. And today, every bank in their website, you can go and see cyber security policy will be there, and which will match with the requirement of the cyber security framework as brought out by Reserve Bank of India. So this is one mandatory thing. So it starts with the policy. So no, I should have a security policy. So now this is the right time where ICSI can join with, I mean, they can actually give their support to government in drafting a framework, in drafting a data protection, personal data protection policy. So I will repeat again, digital personal data protection policy. So you can give a framework, you can give a model, okay, a model actually brought out by ICSI to government. So government may adopt the entire thing and they may put it in their website also, and especially to the board, the Data Protection Board of India, because today for the regulator for data protection, personal data protection, digital personal data protection regulator is DPBI only. So they only will be actually recommending these things to the government. So this is the first thing which is important. And then they start with various aspects. Maybe I just want to give one aspect here, especially whenever there is a cyber crisis. For example, there is a data leak. What should be done? So to whom first you have to report? So how to arrest it? How to quarantine it? So all this stuff has to be there in the cyber crisis management plan. So this is a quite very detailed framework. So it requires more deliberation. But I'm sure today's session I have brought many aspects before all of you. I'll now leave the floor open for maybe questions from members and also some of maybe reflections from Manoj Kumar Purbeji on the topic which we discussed today.
Sir, as you have explained every bit of by introducing your characters, hero, superhero, villain, joker, every aspect of the things you have introduced practically, and these definition which you have elaborated in detail, that is very much crucial. And if we go by the definition, we can understand this DP Act very properly. So everything behind the definition only. So if we go by the definition, certainly we get the great idea insight of this particular DP Act. So we have, sir, so many questions. Somebody asked, what is the difference between data protection and cyber security?
Well, data protection is a concept. So I share my data to bank, I share my data to the other UDI. So then they have to protect my, this is called my digital personal data. So my digital personal data has to be protected. Now, how do I protect it? So I have to protect it by bringing a lot of security measures. Now I'll give you a simple example. So I earn money. Monthly, I earn a salary. So my first expenditure should be savings. I repeat, my first expenditure should be savings. So 20% I save. Now, just by saving 20%, will my money will multiply? No. The saving has to be invested. So very similar to that, I will say I have data, I have to protect. I have a policy, I want to protect it. But how do you protect it? You have to bring a framework, what is called a cyber security framework. So cyber security only will be an umbrella, will be a balloon, will protect your data. How do you protect it? Number one, have a firewall. Take a backup of the data. And anybody who is actually accessing your data, please have a minimum two-factor authentication. So what is two-factor authentication? So biometric authentication. So who you are, okay, biometric. So what do you remember? So password. So that is a two-factor authentication. Similarly, so this is one kind. So access. How do you give access to a person? So where you should save your data, and whenever there is data to be changed, change management. How can you do? Anybody can log in? No. So change will be made and then it will be given to the respective person. So consent manager, you have to forward it properly, and consent manager only will update the data. So consent manager will who is actually responsible? Consent manager is a guy who will actually do the GMRW. So you give consent, he will manage, he will review, and he will withdraw. So that he is actually an operating guy, but not a responsible guy. So the responsibility is on the fiduciary, not on the consent manager. Consent manager works under the data fiduciary. Sometimes consent manager, data fiduciary can be the same company, or they can be a different company. But consent manager is, he will have a, consent manager has to register. Consent manager also, he will be subject to certain minimum qualifications and all. As of today, the consent manager's qualification criteria has not been mentioned. So we have the act which mentions that consent manager, what should be the minimum technology criteria, the educational criteria, net worth criteria. So everything they will actually bring. So we have to wait for that and see. So cyber security is a framework to ensure data protection. So in cyber security framework, you will have the methods to ensure data protection.
Absolutely, sir. So next question is, sir, what are the major responsibility of the board in ensuring compliance with the DPDP laws?
Well, first
Can
is
you list
many are there. So I'll just take you to yeah. So if you look at this, yeah. This is the powers and functions of the board. Here, if you look at the section 27, the board shall exercise and do the following powers. So, on receipt of intimation of personal data breach, to direct any urgent remedial and mitigation measures, like for example, to quarantine the data, so that is not been breached. So, not the entire data, some part is breached. So, parents quarantine on a complaint made by data principal in respect of data breach. So, or a breach in observance by data fiduciary. So, they themselves so much also can do. Then the action will be taken on a reference even made by central government or state government. Also, the board can take it. Okay. Or on a complaint made by data principal in respect of a breach in observance by a consent manager. Now, look at this. This is where two people are different. So, on a complaint made by data principal, okay, in respect of breach in observance by concerned manager of its obligation. So, no, he is not doing it. I withdraw the consent. He didn't record it. So, therefore, please take action. So, board has responsibility and powers to question the data fiduciary, but the complaint can be made by the data principal. And also, he can question the consent manager also. So, both the data fiduciary and the consent manager are under the scanner of the board. Similarly, on receipt of the breach of any condition of registration of the consent manager to inquire into the breach and impose penalty on the consent manager also. So this is broadly powers and functions. So we have to wait for further rules and regulations. Actually, regulations will be brought out by board once the board is fully functional. So how the consent manager, so there will be a consent manager regulations. There will be a data fiduciary regulations. There will be a significant data fiduciary regulations. But these regulations will be brought by the board. So board will be your statutory body, okay, your regulator. Good.
Sir, from a technical aspect for data protection, nowadays AI much into the picture. So how in framing the overall structure of the data protection, we can incorporate this AI?
Well, AI is actually a technology mostly for automation purpose, for data analytics purpose, for maybe process automation. So any repetitive process you can actually automate. So it is actually a tool to actually maybe you can use it for oversight. Say you want to generate some reports, you can use AI. So AI can actually help data fiduciary, help consent manager to generate reports periodically, daily reports, hourly reports, compare with the previous reports. So what are the deviations, if any? For example, if in a consent any information is missed out, AI can actually find out. So AI can actually be a tool. We can use it in the entire the DPDP implementation. So and the process. So which actually will ease our process. That is where AI will be useful. So AI cannot it cannot replace DPDP. So DPDP process is where your digital data has to be safeguarded. You have to keep it in one place. So it is actually recording of data and storing data and taking a backup of the data, and then the proper entry only has to, unauthorized person should not be given entry. Now AI cannot do anything here. So but AI can actually do data analytics. So how many people actually entered data? So which are all your source data? Which are all the data that has been amended? which are the data which has been withdrawn or it is not to be used. So these kind of reports can actually give more business insights, okay, to the management, to the top management. So there AI can be used.
Sir, one question related to practical and risk management question. What are the first 5 steps? What are the five steps a company should take immediately after detecting a cybersecurity breach?
Well, this is a place where your policy will actually help you. I'll presume that you have a policy, and as per the policy, I will I'll keep. For example, you go to a company, you go to any banks, you go to any insurance companies, they have these policies in their website because IRDA norms and RBI norms, RBI regulations make it very clear that you should have a policy. I'll presume that we have a very similar policy to that. So step one, once there is a data breach, so the first step is actually you have to inform the respective authorities and regulators. So, but before that, so they say if fire is there, if there is an accident, first you have to help the victim. So you have to give a medical treatment. So very similar to that, once there is a data breach, immediately you have to ensure whether the entire data is breached or how much data is actually breached. So the balance data, you have to quarantine it. So the step one is quarantining the data which has not been breached. Okay, so you have to find out that and ensure that you protect the data. So data protection is always primary. Data protection is always first. The second one is only reporting. So now reporting also, I will say you can do it parallelly, but they say prevention, detection, and correction. So now you have detected that there is a data breach, you have quarantined it. So the next step is you have to correct it. So from where the data breach happened, who did it? Was it internal? Was it external? Whether firewall was compromised? So how it happened? So there should be one team who should actually find the reasons for data breach. That is step two. Step three, take corrective mechanism. So technically corrective mechanism is not there. The only corrective mechanism is reporting to the regulators. So you are not supposed to go to press and all, but your Data Protection Board of India, you are supposed to report suo motu. So that is part of the rule also. So that there is a data breach, who is responsible, that you have to do it. If you don't do, then it will go to press. Now the government will know. Then government will ask the board to actually send you a show cause notice. So all this stuff will happen. So better data fiduciary himself or the significant data fiduciary himself report to the data breach to the Data Protection Board of India, and then they will ask report. So give me a report by today or tomorrow. So they'll give a report how it happened. So what is the reason? No, sir, there was a virus attack. From where virus came, there was one attachment in email. Unknowingly, one employee opened it. He is only an intern. That actually created havoc and thereby the data. So you find out the reasons for that. So number one, quarantine. Number two, you have to ensure a corrective mechanism. Number three, you have to report it. Okay. Number four, your policy, you have to actually reframe it. You have to strengthen it. Your technology framework, you have to strengthen it. So we call this as incident management. So in the policy itself, you should have an incident management framework. So that means what is incident management? Minor incident, major incident. You learn from that. So when you want to learn by driving a bicycle, you fall. You learn how you should not fall from that fall only. So next time when you are about to fall, you will actually you will escape. So and you will learn the bicycle. So very similar to that, by these incidents, you strengthen your mechanism and then report it to the Data Protection Board of India. See, I am not responsible. Somebody else has did that, but I'll ensure that I'm strengthening. Oh, previously you didn't strengthen it. What happened to your data audit? What happened to your complaints? What happened to your data protection? Impact assessment report. That means you only did it for namesake purpose. Who did the data audit? Which company secretary did? So under which panel? on what basis you did. So all these will come. So quite a very detailed thing. So data breach is not the ordinary thing. So because it is somebody else's data, you are in a fiduciary position, you are holding it. So you have to take utmost care. And like how you speak about ESG, environment, social, and governance. In your annual report, you will give more significance to governance part. See how we are so accountable and transparent, and we have a very strong digital protection mechanism in place, and we have a governance mechanism, and thereby there is zero data breach, 0% data breach. So future annual reports and all will claim this, especially SDFs, the significant data fiduciaries and all will claim that in their annual report that we are having 0% data breach consecutively for third year, fourth year, fifth year, like that.
Absolutely, sir. We have so many questions, but we have a limited time. We are last taking two questions. One from the audience and last one from my side. My side. One from the audience. How can organization create a culture where cyber security becomes everyone's responsibility and not just the IT department concern?
Very good. Two things, sir. It's self-regulation and tone at the top. So that means people at the top, they should always speak about data protection, data protection, data protection. And the top management, including company secretary, board of directors, there should be a continuous training program for board of directors. And there, company secretaries will play a very important role. The tone at the top should always speak about cyber security only. Then give a maximum importance. So first important, because when they say business first, customers' data, suppliers' data, so your data, if it is kept, so that has to be protected. So that is very important. So that integrity of protecting the data should be at the highest pedestal. So that means number one, self-regulation. Number two, I will say tone at the top, your top management. So it should be bottom-down approach. Sorry, top-down approach. From top only that thought process should be percolated down, and it should be self-regulated. So number one, self-regulation should be there, and top-down approach also should be there. So thereby only this framework will become effective. Otherwise, okay, you implement cyber security, I will do my job, means effectiveness will not be there. So board of directors, company secretary have very, very important role here. So they have to, they are the steering force, driving force for this.
Absolutely, sir. Related to that only, at the end of this session, if you had to give one piece of advice, either to board, either to company secretary and business leaders, what it would be? Related to cyber protection, related to data protection and cyber security.
Well, I'll only say one word. It is called be updated. So be updated, otherwise we are uprooted. So that means your compliance filing work and all, it's all very ordinary work now, henceforth. And over a period of time, it will be automated. And it will only come for your verification for signature that filling and all has been done, because form filling, form attachment, everything can be automated now. So to that extent, automation is happening. So this is the next gen, next another 5 years or 10 years, this is going to be very important. And they will start from SDF. Government will start from superstar, but it will come to ordinary data fiduciaries also, with having turnover of 100 crore. So like very similar to companies borrowing about 10 crore, turnover above 100 crore. Like you have a CSR, above 5 crore profit, above 500 crore net worth. So the same concept will also apply for your data protection also. So your accounting, it will start from your accounting data. So your customer data, because your internal data is one thing. When you have the customer data, supplier data, you start from your customer and supplier data. So if it is only your internal inventory, your internal accounting data, DPDP Act may not apply. But when you have the external data, so then that too personal data. So, but if you have your clients not personal, that is a company. So you are a company who deal with company. DPDP Act may not apply all to you also. When DPDP Act will apply? Only when you deal with personal data. Because the act is called as Digital Personal Data Protection Act. So please focus on the word called personal. So unless and otherwise you deal with individuals' data in your company, you need not worry about it. For example, I am only in B2B business. I am in a company, I serve to another company. So for me also, my another company is actually, so I am not dealing with the individual data, except my employee data. Employee data is actually internal data. So now one question will come whether employee data will come under the Digital Personal Data Protection Act. Okay, because there you are actually governed by the other laws. Code of Wages Act. So that act and all will say that you have to collect information and keep it, and it is your responsibility to protect your employees' data. So therefore, that law takes care of that. So your DPDP Act need not worry about it. Only when your customer data, individual, supplier data, individual, or any other data, somebody else third-party data, then only DPDP Act is applicable. So today, especially these app companies. So these app companies, they collect lot of information. So from the websites, you collect lot of information, who access your sites, those who download information. So those companies will be subject to this. So all Swiggy, Zomato, the railway, IRCTC will definitely will come under this. IRCTC, Swiggy, Zomato, your the various other companies which Meesho, Gisho and all. So Flipkart. So all these companies, they are collecting, and your car company, Rapido. So they will also come under this. So they are collecting all personal data. So in websites, apps, various app development companies where they say I have 10 lakh subscribers, 20 lakh subscribers, all these. Similarly, those who are social media influencers, they will also have, they will say I have 10 million consumers, I mean 10 million customers, 10 million viewers are there. They may sometimes, when they say subscribe, there are certain app, they will even collect their names, their informations. So only subscription alone will not come under DPDP Act. But you have to collect a PII, personally identifiable information. Personally identifiable information means name, date of birth, address, PAN number, your passport number. So these things, when you collect, only DPDP Act.
Okay,
So
sir. Once again, thank you, sir. You are very practically by introducing your character into this discussion. You had made this session very lively and very practical one. And I'm also looking after the information technology segment of the ICSI as a IT chairman. It is my duty to look into this DPDP Act. And furthermore, we have so many things we are coming in through the council. And as you said rightly through your presentation, company secretary role here in this DPDP Act is very much phenomenal. Either by way of auditor, by way of appointment in the company as a principal officer. So we have a bigger role to play here, and hope with your suggestions and in future might be possible we can take the help of yours by representing the our facts about the company secretary in practice for auditor. For these things, we are going to make a representation, and in making the representation, certainly we are going to take your help, and accordingly we can move and do some good thing for our profession. Once again, sir, I'm very thankful. Now number is 12,000. So it's a very wonderful session for all of us, and our members are, I hope, really enjoyed the sessions of yours. And individually and practically, you had covered every aspect of the DPDP Act and the quantum of penalty. It is really eye-opening for all company secretaries. If those people are really interested in this segment, have a bigger remuneration, bigger fees. So hope our company secretary is going to enjoy this DPDP Act. And already we are, as suggested by sir, we are working on it, and we have PMQ courses. So hope our members are going to enjoy those courses and do good in this segment of DPDP Act. With this thing, I'm once again thank you, sir, for your wonderful gesture. Should be anything else you want?
Sir, Prachi, no, sir. Thank you so much for the insightful session, and thank you, Manu sir, for moderating the session so wonderfully. Thank you. And sir, it's a request to kindly share your PPT.
Yeah, I'll share it. Thank you.
Especially, sir, that part you had covered, what points you had discussed during this presentation. That is very helpful to everyone.
Oh, that whiteboard Excel sheet.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you. Sure, I'll share.
Thank you, sir. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Yes, please.